Greetings, loved ones. Today we are going to talk about seeing abusers as manipulators and con artists. A psychologist says that there is a way to unmask an abuser and possibly avoid them before getting trapped. Help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and the notification bell, and please share these messages with others. You never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. Abusers can be manipulative. They can gaslight you and make you question what you know happened. Let's look at what the term gaslighting means. According to Psychology Today, gaslighting is an insidious form of manipulation and psychological control. Victims of gaslighting are deliberately and systematically fed false information that leads them to question what they know to be true, often about themselves. They may end up doubting their memory or their perception and even their sanity. Over time, a gaslighter's manipulations can grow more complex and potent, making it increasingly difficult for the victim to see the truth. Abusers can groom you and alienate your support system, so once you realize you're in danger, you may feel like you have nowhere to turn for help. So let's look at what grooming means. Grooming is a tactic of overcoming the survivor's defenses by slowly desensitizing his or her natural reaction to abusive behaviors. We see this a lot in pedophiles and people who abuse children. The most recognized context in this, as I said, is pedophiles using it on children and their parents, but the technique is also used in other contexts, such as domestic violence, confidence scans, or commercial sex work. Grooming works by mixing positive behaviors with elements of abuse. At the beginning, all the behaviors are positive, and slowly abusive elements are added in amounts that surprise the survivor to an extent, but do not push the alarm to a high level. Over time, the inappropriate comes to feel like it's normal. Because the primary aggressor's real goal isn't understood by the survivor, he or she often misses the harmful implication and dismisses the internal signals of alarm that do arise. Looking back, could you spot the signs early on that someone would be abusive in a relationship? Not always. It can be hard to recognize emotional abuse when it is happening, and abusers are very adept at hiding their tactics. And they may prey on you when you're vulnerable and you're not able to spot the warning signs. Diana Macmillan, a doctor, psychologist based in Australia, says that there are things abusers often do early in relationships that might point to trouble. Macmillan has confidentially interviewed more than 600 abusers. She shares what she's learned in her TED Talk, her free podcast, Unmasking the Abuser, and her book, But He Says He Loves Me. She says that many abusers use certain methods to target their partners and to gain power over those partners. She points out that abusers are con artists and they hone their skills in each relationship. She says that children who come from abusive families can start modeling these behaviors when they are just about 3 to 5 years old. She says they start using these methods and learning what works and what doesn't, and by their late teens, they are very skilled manipulators. So how do abusers choose their partners? Macmillan says that abusers seek out partners that they believe they will be able to control, and that could include the following. Partners from cultural or religious backgrounds where it's common to have a controlling person, usually a male, in their lives. Survivors who have previously been abused, individuals who are at a disadvantage compared to their partner. For example, an older abuser might seek out a much younger partner, or an abuser might select a recent immigrant. Of course, many people in these situations form healthy bonds with their partners, but Macmillan says women need to be aware of these reasons they might be targeted. An emotionally healthy, confident woman, they can be targeted too. Some abusers get a thrill from destroying a strong partner. Macmillan says that abusers she has interviewed describe it as the breaking of a horse. She says confident women are vulnerable for two reasons. First, they don't see themselves as vulnerable, so they aren't cautious. And second, an abuser can enter their life at a low, vulnerable point. For example, an abuser could gain the trust of a strong, confident woman when her parents are sick and her role as a caregiver makes her temporarily vulnerable. So what should we watch for in the early stages of a relationship to prevent us from falling victim to an abusive partner? Macmillan says that certain behaviors early in a relationship might be warning signs of potential abuse. So here are some examples. Too much too soon. Abusers might take up a lot of your time. Dates go on late into the night with texts and videos afterward. She says it creates an artificial intimacy. This person is still relatively a stranger. They may also want to do everything together, and they expect to hear from you immediately if they contact you when you're apart. Another possibility is testing your reactions. Abusers take small actions to see how you'll respond. For example, after you made plans to meet, they might change the time or location at the last minute. They want to see if you get angry or if you comply, says Macmillan. They might suggest where you should sit or what you should eat. And it all starts with small things. And when you agree, you think you're being nice. You likely won't notice that you're moving into a dominant, submissive relationship. Macmillan says that when he asserts dominance, it's easier for him to assert higher levels of control quickly. Another signal could be wanting you all to himself. Abuse thrives in isolation. So he may criticize your loved ones and try to convince you that he's the only person who really understands you. Another red flag is arranging situations where they are comfortable and you are not. For example, an abuser might suggest that you meet in a restaurant in his neighborhood or try a cuisine that's new to you. These situations don't always point to danger, but however, they can be initial steps toward controlling behavior. And then there's the backhanded compliments. Abusers might compliment you in an off-putting way, where when you hear the compliment, you're excited, but something feels off. For example, I like that dress. My mom has one like that. Meaning, he's complimenting your dress, you like it, makes you feel good, but the comment, my mom has one like it, might mean you're out of style wearing old ladies' clothes. Macmillan says it sounds like a compliment, but they're lobbing a hand grenade. They are creating feelings of instability. And then there's love bombing compliments. This is a new one to me, and it's extremely interesting. Of course, compliments aren't usually a bad thing, but abusers can use them to influence and manipulate you. They may look at you closely and ask a lot of questions so they can target their compliments. For example, if you wear sporty clothes, they might comment on how fit you are. Or if you spend a lot of time on your makeup, they'll tell you that you could work in a beauty field. So, I mean, it's one thing to say, wow, you look great today. And it's another thing to say, oh, your makeup is so amazing. You know, you could work in a beauty parlor. There's a difference between a regular comment and a love bombing comment. The compliment is customized to get the highest resonance in your heart, past your brain. We like people better when they flatter us, says Macmillan, even if we know they're trying to get something from us. And then another red flag could be ambitious future plans. An abuser may charm you with talk of a future together or quickly start calling you his girlfriend or his future wife. You're 3 days into the relationship. I knew this was meant to be, and you're going to be my wife, and we're going to live forever. So many women are frustrated by men who are unwilling to plan for next weekend, but his talk of the future might seem like a sign of stability. But that level of commitment early in a relationship could be a red flag. He's making big plans and you don't even know each other yet. So what can you do? It can be very difficult to identify the signs that a partner might turn abusive. And Macmillan says a lot of the early warning signs, they look like assets. They look like good things. After all, a partner who pays attention, asks questions, listens closely, and offers compliments, and that can be attractive. And even if you spot the signs, acting on this knowledge is very easier said than done. You can underestimate the impact, Macmillan says, and a lot of women have a hard time of saying no, even if they see the warning signs, because they don't want to upset him. That should be a red flag. Whenever it comes into your mind that I shouldn't say this, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't go here because it will upset him, that's a guaranteed red flag that you are in a controlling relationship. Abusers can be charming to others, so your friends might say, you're being too picky, or you should give him another chance. So here are some strategies that could help you get out before you get trapped. So, number one, you can recognize if you have vulnerabilities that could make you an attractive target to an abuser, and be more cautious in the early stages of a relationship. The other thing you could do is you can memorize the tactics abusers use to slowly gain control and watch to see if a new partner puts them in play. Another thing you could do is you can initiate plans and see how your partner reacts. Just like he's doing that to you, you could test him in it. For example, you can suggest a place to meet for your next date. If a guy really likes you and you say, hey, let's sit outside, he'll say, yeah, that sounds good. It's a beautiful day. He's not trying to steer you away from everything you like to something that he wants. So letting in someone new after abuse can seem daunting. And it's important that you know the red flags so that you can prevent yourself from falling into another relationship. Because if you've been abused once, the chances are that you'll fall into another relationship that's bad for you. With 1 in 3 women experiencing domestic violence worldwide, the question is not if you'll encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. We are all called to be champions for justice. Those who suffer violence, they need to know that those who love them and those who don't even know them will step out and reach out to them to give them the help and the courage they need to leave before it is too late. Help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit the like button and the notification bell. And please share these messages with others, because you never know, just by doing so, you could save a life. And if you are a victim of violence, I want you to listen to me. You are valued. You are loved. You are intelligent. You are beautiful. You've been listening to all these lies all this time, but this is the truth. You are valued, loved, intelligent, and beautiful. And God does not want you to suffer violence. He wants you to live free from violence in peace and tranquility. There is a way out. It's not your fault. And abuse is not love. If you're a victim of violence, please reach out to someone. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, call 911 for help. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how abusers trick survivors into denying the abuse. Until then, God bless you.